You're listening to Moviesucktastic.
I'm the baddest mofo down around this time. Sho'nuff! Well, who am I? I can't hear you. Sho'nuff!
It all sounds like some bad movie.
Hello. Welcome all. Welcome. This is going to be episode 150 of Moviesucktastic, a small milestone for us. Please also welcome our special guest for this evening. I'm sorry, Scott.
Go ahead.
Christian Wallner, or Chris Wallner as we like to call him. He is on the show. Thank you for joining us, buddy.
No problem. Greetings all.
Now, if anyone remembers the last time Chris was on, he he helped us review the film Megaforce, which was also his recommendation, which also is the most downloaded show in history for us. It did something ridiculous, like 30,000 downloads in a single month. Just for that episode.
Never underestimate the power of Hal Needham.
Yeah. Kiss that thumb and point it at a screen. Oh, man.
So if this episode is as popular, you're going to have to come back, like, every episode.
Yeah, you're just going to have to be the third guest. Or the third member of the show, I should say. Not even a guest. We can't pay you.
We have a bright future ahead of us.
Yeah, we can't pay you, but...
What else is new?
Yeah, we'll do our best otherwise. So anyway, what we're reviewing this week is The Last Dragon from 1985. Barry Gordon's The Last Dragon.
Last Dragon.
That's right. And I'm wondering if that was like a marketing technique, because they don't usually do that unless they're trying to sell the film to, like, Steven Spielberg Presents, just because his name was attached. The films always did pretty well, even, kind of crappy films like Batteries Not Included probably did better than they should have because it said Steven Spielberg Presents.
Well, it's like Tyler Perry movies. Same thing.
Yeah, like for the longest time, I thought Steven Spielberg had a lot more to do with the Back to the Future films than just being a producer on it. So I'm wondering if the Barry Gordon thing was to attract a black crowd. I don't know.
Well, it says with the hipness of Motown or whatever on the...
Exactly.
In the, trailer or whatever. So, there you go.
Scott immediately disagrees with me because something came out of my mouth.
Yeah.
Motown so anyway, is it. Yeah, baby.
So the rhythm of the night.
Nothing says, urban plight better than El DeBarge.
And he had the last billing when they were announcing all the music. And DeBarge.
Yeah, I mean, the big selling point is vanity of the film. And I was watching it with Holly, and so I'm looking up movie... I always look up movie facts and stuff while we're watching films when I make her watch Moviesucktastic stuff. She starts looking up all this other stuff, and like all the music stuff. And the two things that she mentioned that I never knew during the whole DeBarge video, because it's either look stuff up or watch the DeBarge video, was one, I didn't realize that DeBarge was like a whole family.
Oh, yeah.
Like
El
Menudo.
DeBarge. Yeah. And El DeBarge is just one of them.
He was also married to Janet Jackson when she was like 15 or something like that.
So that was like a melding of the Jacksons and the DeBarge, which is weird.
Is that and then the Jerry Cole hair? Is that why that was going on?
Yeah. And then the other thing was that, according to Holly, Vanity dated Prince for a while.
Yeah. Vanity Six, or band.
Who didn't?
Right. Prince is the reason that her name is Vanity, although originally he had told her to change her name to Vagina.
You mean the
That
artist
Prince,
formerly
what a
known as
card.
Prince?
What?
You mean the artist formerly known as Prince?
Well, back then he was just Prince. This is before he was the formerly. This is the
Yes,
the,
I'm yes. I'm,
yeah.
See, the
never
weird
mind.
thing, Prince wanted to change his name to Penis. So then it would have been Penis and Vagina.
Ah, see, that fits. You know, that fits. Yeah. The first movie I ever saw Vanity naked in, and it could be the only film she was ever naked in, was 52 Pickup with Roy Scheider.
Oh,
I think she had a nude scene in Action Jackson, but I could be wrong.
Ah, we reviewed that. I don't remember her being naked in that.
I think it was just a quick topple scene, but again,
possible. Yeah.
It might have been a side boob thing. I for some reason, 52 Pickup is just etched into my brain because she's like being interviewed by Roy Scheider's character, and she's just topless doing kind of like these kind of stripper moves, and I was just like, oh my God, this woman.
See, I just remember the chase scene. That's all.
Yeah, no, when you're 11 years old,
Okay.
chase scenes are in every other movie. I'm good with that all day long. Nude scenes, they don't come around very often.
nope.
Exactly.
Hence my predilection to Separate Vacations.
There, see, that was a late night Skinamax film. I remember it vividly.
I forbid us to talk about Separate Vacations.
I'm sorry.
I
Now-
haven't seen it since I was a kid, so I wouldn't even know where to start with it.
Chris, do you want to give like the plot synopsis of The Last Dragon so we can get the review rolling? Or no?
No.
I'm gonna put you on the spot. All right, I'll do it.
Bruce Leroy.
Well, it's the thing I find funny watching this is since we reviewed Breakin' 2 and then Rappin',
Right.
the plot to this is almost identical to the Rappin' plot.
Yeah, the main villain in the Rappin' film wanted to fight.
Well, don't jump ahead there. I mean, even the basic idea of we start the film with the main character returning the town. Now, in the film, excuse me, Bruce Leroy, our lead, played by Timac, who was a martial arts instructor, and this is like one of his few only films. He returns the town, but they don't really explain what he's returning from. It's supposed to be, technically, I guess you're supposed to assume he's returning from training, but it's not like he's that far away. I mean, his master...
Yeah, he looks like he's in the same town.
Yeah,
blocks.
so he wasn't really away. And then when the Shogun of Harlem, who's the best part of this film ever, when he shows up, he's like, I have returned. Where did he come from?
Wasn't he in that TV series with Bruce Campbell a long while ago?
Briscoe County Jr. And he was
That's
also
right.
in Dr. Doc with Matt Frewer.
You're right. I forgot about that one.
Oh, I didn't. I've still got a bunch of those on video. So you've got these two main characters now. In Rappin', of course, Rappin' Hood had just returned from prison. So they kind of imply that at least the Shogun, like again, he says, I have returned, but they never really say from where. So it's possible that both of these characters have returned from prison at some point.
You mean Bruce Leroy?
I said both characters, Bruce Leroy and the Shogun.
Bruce Leroy's a fucking Boy Scout. There's no way he went to prison.
Where was he coming back from then? That's all I'm saying.
He was living with that old Chinese guy that they couldn't
Down the
get
street.
Mako. They couldn't get Mako, so they
That's
hired
right.
him.
Mako Light.
Yeah. So they hired him, and that's where he was training on the houseboat.
There's no way he went to prison.
So
No way.
you have the plot line of the Shogun of Harlem, Sho'nuff,
Who I wouldn't doubt was in prison.
who's trying to. Then where did he come back from? That's what I'm saying. They kind of
The Shogun of Harlem?
Yeah, they leave it so
Queens?
vague.
Maybe he came back
What?
from Queens.
I was going to say Queens.
Nah. I think he was doing hot time.
He was on
Jersey.
a book tour.
So-
if that dude ain't from Jersey, I don't know who is. All right, that guy's kicking around Newark, like you wouldn't believe.
So Sho'nuff is trying to get Bruce Leroy to fight him so he can prove that he's the best. Meanwhile, you've got a love affair going on, a love triangle going on between Bruce Leroy, his brother, who's also the brother from Rappin',
And 4.
and what?
He's 4 years old.
Oh, right. And
Sorry.
and both of them, just like in Rappin', are in love or have the hots for a young, attractive woman in the entertainment industry. And
That's
just
right.
like in Rappin' 2, there's, like you said, there's a white evil corporate type person, in this case, more of an entertainment mogul, that is trying to put the kibosh on everything, except this one, it's really comes down to just pure ego more than anything else. He's not really trying to tear down buildings or evict people. He just wants power.
He just wants to fight Bruce Leroy because he hears he's so good and he's the master.
No. Sho'nuff wants to fight Bruce Leroy.
That's what I said.
Right. I'm not. I'm talking about the corporate.
Eddie Arcadian.
Eddie Arcadian.
Eddie Arcadian. Okay.
Yes. Sho'nuff is not corporate. He is not.
He
He's
just
of the
gets in
streets.
cahoots with Eddie to just so he can get closer to Bruce Leroy to kick his ass.
Right. Who's the master?
Sho'nuff.
You're the king of New York. You ain't number one. By Donald Pleasance, everybody. Thank you.
There you go. It was brilliant. I thought he was here.
I love the scene that's showing now, which is and the weird drag queen that's in that, which throws the whole thing off for me, just because it just comes out of nowhere. But I love the whole thing where he just says, "I'll take anybody on." He just stands up in the movie theater. I'll take anybody on who thinks they can beat the Shogun, and just like people just start flying out of their seats to fight the guy. It's just great.
Well, like the one guy where he's.
I'd stay away from. I don't know.
Yeah.
He creeped me out as a kid. I was legitimately afraid of the Shogun of Harlem.
He has that one crazy eye too.
Uh huh. That's for high blood pressure.
That's high.
And like Rappin', I'm still not, or actually, I'm thinking more Executioner 2. I'm still not convinced that Mario Van Peebles did not do the wardrobe for this film.
For The Last Dragon?
Yeah. It's...
You know what? I wouldn't be surprised. The films are so close. They were both released in 85. Why not? He did the wardrobe for Rappin'. It's like, hey, listen, it's another MGM release. It's like, we could really use your help. You did such a great job on Rappin'. And he's like, yeah, why not? You got my boy Jimmy Smith in there, Shogun of Harlem.
Now the evil white guy, Eddie Arcadian, the actor, what's his name? I forgot. Christopher Murney. What else has he been in? Anybody remember him from anything else?
I remember him, but I can't remember what he was in.
I got nothing.
Which character are you talking about?
Eddie Arcadian. Evil white guy.
You know, I looked him up, and you know what? He says he was in Barton Fink, but I don't remember him in there. And The Secret of My Success with Michael J. Fox. I don't remember him in there either.
He was one of the cops in Barton Fink. Small part. He gets killed at the end.
He's done a lot of voice acting for video games, though.
Who hasn't these fucking days? Jesus, look at anybody up in like a fucking dwarf in Skyrim or something.
The last thing he did, though, video game voice acting or actor, as a matter of fact, was Red Dead Redemption in 2010.
Everybody's been in fucking Red Dead Redemption. It's ridiculous. But his goons, I was looking through the cast list.
Chaz Palminteri.
Yeah, which one? Is he the driver with the mustache? Because it doesn't look a fucking thing like him.
Yes, he's the guy that gets caught in the window in the beginning when they try to accost Vanity.
I read that he was in the film. Yeah, he doesn't look a thing like him. I read he was in the film.
It really doesn't.
No, I read about it, and I was like, okay, I got to spot which one's him. They're like, no, he's not in there. What are they talking about? He just...
In your attempt to... When you sent me the copy, when I finally got to work and I was watching it, and I had my little notepad out, and I was like writing things down, and I'm watching it, and I hear the voice first. I hear his voice first. And he was stuck in the car in the car window, and he's like, "Oh, come on," or something. And I'm like, "That sounds like Chaz Palminteri." So I rewound it, watched it again, and then I looked it up on IMDb, and sure enough, he was in it. And I was like, "Whoa!"
Tip of the hat, because I would not have placed his voice just in that one line. And after that one scene, he's in a couple other scenes, but he hangs in the back. That's the only time you really get a close up of his face, and it doesn't look a thing like him with the mustache, like the hair, just like. Destroys the face. Yeah.
He was a lot thinner, and his hair was bigger, and he had a big furry, mustache. So there you go.
That's crazy.
and William H. Macy too, which is also
a young William H. Macy. Yes.
Yeah. I skimmed through the film today, and I got to that scene where he's in the window of the car, and I didn't think anything of it at all. I swear to God, I looked at the guy. It's like I did not recognize him as Charles Palminteri, not even his voice. And I'm usually pretty good with that stuff.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't have noticed it all either if I hadn't read the cast list.
Like
Now,
picking out Van Damme in Breaking 2 or whatever.
Oh, you can't miss him in that.
Sure you can.
I just love the fact that, like you said, that he was doing backflips and stuff, and they just cut him out.
well, there is a longer, and we did talk about it when we reviewed it. There is a longer scene with him dancing like an idiot, and I'm assuming that's on the in maybe in cut scenes on the DVD or something, because it is on the internet. You can find it. He's just
someone probably had and released him. Yeah,
he's just dancing.
That's
like
where
a
they
dummy.
got the idea for the dance sequence in what was it, Double Impact or whatever? One of those.
Oh God,
Yeah,
that was it wasn't Double
Which one?
Impact. You're thinking of the film.
Double Impact's with Dennis Rodman, right?
No, Double Impact is the one where he has a twin.
What was the one with Rodman then? I thought Double Impact was Rodman.
Kickboxer. The dance sequence was in Kickboxer.
Yes, it was. You're right.
Oh, there you go.
I remember renting that for the first time. It's a huge, giant, like cutout of him doing like that special kick move that he always does, and I was just like, "What is this movie?" We rented it. I took it home, watched it 50 times, and I'm not ashamed to say that.
I like to point out something interesting. If anybody's watching live stream right now and they're seeing the DeBarge sequence where they're playing in the rhythm of the streets or
Rhythm of the Night.
Rhythm of the Night, dancing in the streets, dancing in the streets, the Rhythm of the Night. But if you're watching it, it actually looks like Lionel Richie doing Dancing on the Ceiling. So that's kind of cool.
I'm telling you, I'm kind of creeped out with them being upside down because it's weird.
Now,
I'm not gonna lie.
Now, this film, I feel, really is pure.
Oh yeah, that's
80s.
William H. Macy, even upside down. I can tell.
Young William H. Macy's, right?
Yeah.
This film is pure 80s.
Yes,
The
first thing I thought of is this is the perfect 80s film.
And what's interesting about that statement is Scott and I have talked before about how in the early 80s or any early decade, it is still the previous decade. You haven't been in that decade long enough. So you get a film in 1980, 81, 82. It still feels like a 70s film. Same thing with the early 70s. It kind of feels like a 60s. Yeah. This one, 1985, we are well established into the mid 80s. This is like your perfect, feels like is 80s movie.
But almost to a sense where like it's saturated with 80s. I mean the music, of course, and it's not just like the introduction of Motown into America, but it's that kind of washed out, that kind of sanitized black music.
Well,
so
it's completely like, MTV too.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Yeah.
Well, even down to her character being, like this Soul Train-ish type show, which is broadcast on live television.
Right.
I think it was. I'm sorry, Scott. I think it was a merge of like, okay, we're gonna bring Motown into the video age by doing this, because if you think about the I forget her name, something the woman and the other woman,
yeah,
the Arcadians lady.
You know what's interesting about that? Type. Her name is Faith Prince.
Yeah. By the way, a complete mockery of Cyndi Lauper. Fuck this movie for that.
Well, no, she's a real singer and performer. She's actually going to be at the PNC Bank Arts Center next weekend. Ironically enough, it was in the Sunday paper.
As long as she doesn't make fun of Cyndi Lauper like this film did, I'm fine with that.
But then you got, she's wearing
her
clothes like Madonna. It's got that very 80s, 80s vibe to the whole thing.
I think Julie Brown ripped her off.
Eddie Arcadian was a video game mogul or something like that. They mentioned a couple times in the beginning.
Right, he owns the jukebox. That Sho'nuff actually kicks in. That's like the Arcadian jukebox.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it said something about video games in the beginning too. Like this is, and it's all. It reminded me of like one giant MTV.
Well, they mentioned the video game thing on the IMDb, not the wiki page. I mean, they mentioned that. So
yeah,
it just says meanwhile, video arcade mogul Eddie Arcadian. So
Yeah.
Right.
Hence the last name Arcadian. So.
And so, but even like his Arcadian's office or how apartment suite, whatever you want to call it, is so Art Deco. It's insane. And I mean, and obviously he's supposed to be a bit over the top. But you know, obviously the fashions and everything. But there's just so much '80s coming at you here. This is like, I think, one of the most '80s films you've ever reviewed, just as far as total culture shock.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Pure '80s, exactly. I know. Big shout out to Mike Starr too, playing the quintessential '80s muscle.
Oh,
you know what I'm talking about. The guy from he was in. Goodfellas. He's in a bunch of things. Anytime you need a big, goofy guy, he's dead now too.
You know
he was
what?
the gas man. He was the gas man.
Interesting? I could have sworn he was dead too, but his IMDb page says he's alive.
Really? I swear I saw him. I swear I saw like a memorial or something on a show or something on a TV show. No, God bless him.
Surprisingly, you mentioned like Goodfellas and whatnot. Surprisingly, people probably know him best. Yeah, right. Dumb and Dumber.
Sorry.
Yeah. The most annoying sound in the world? The guy in the car that he's getting that shot in his ear. That guy.
It's like just whenever I see him, whenever I try to explain to somebody who it is, it's like, it's the gas man. That's it.
Gas man.
Yeah.
He's totally. Blah, blah, blah.
Since we're talking.
The perfect 80s muscle.
Oh, yeah. Right down to the gold chains.
The only person that I'm ashamed is not in this movie because he would have fit in perfectly would be the Asian actor from The Last Action Hero who got the ice cream cone to the noggin. He's in every movie, every martial arts movie except for this.
Is he the one in Die Hard that takes the candy bar? Or am I thinking of somebody else?
I think he was in Die Hard. I think he was in Die Hard.
You're talking about the guy with the mustache and the big hair?
Yes, and he's bald. He's
was
got long hair and he's bald.
Yeah, he takes the candy bar.
Yeah, he played Genghis Khan in Bill and Ted. Excellent Adventure. Yeah, okay.
Yes.
He was also in She's Having a Baby, played the photographer where he actually talks.
Big Trouble in Little China. He was
Big Trouble in Little China.
So, yeah, I don't know why he's in here. Why he's not in here. You're right.
He was busy. He was busy.
Well, the other face I recognized in here that I had to look up was the, of course, it's a 1980s film, so we have to have the chubby white kid.
Well, of course.
Oh, yes.
And
wearing clothes that are way too tight for a chubby white kid in the 80s.
Except at the end where they put him in a fucking dress, I swear.
I didn't see that part.
It's just he's got like the flower. They're all in white at the end dancing, and he's got like this bandana on. And I swear to God, he's in like a fucking dress. It was like how much more can we humiliate the fat kid?
Yeah, but like he couldn't get up on the dock, on the loading dock, and they have to
pretend you can't climb 2 feet. What?
I felt like that kid watching that movie. I was like, oh man.
Oh, and real quick, not only is Mike Starr still alive, he's got 9 films in the can.
Who?
Mike Starr.
Oh, okay.
Guy from Dumb and Dumber. 9 films in the can.
I recognize the chubby white kid. I forget the name. I'm not looking it up. And I had to go and look at. I couldn't think of the film I remembered him from, but I found it. Airplane 2. He's the kid in the beginning that plays on the controls and crashes the plane. I was like,
God.
Shit. He's got like the prep school jacket and tie on.
Oh.
And now, what I didn't realize until I looked that up is that he's also the guy in the alley that Jim Carrey gives the balloon animal to in The Mask. All grown up.
That I had no idea.
I would not have known that, but that I thought was interesting. I don't know, because there you've got the Gas Man and you've got the kid from The Mask, so you got tie-ins there with Jim Carrey.
Well, there you go.
Oh man, it's 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon all over again.
I'm trying to wrap my head around like how much I loved this movie when I was younger.
I made my parents take me to this in a movie theater.
Yeah.
Made them.
Yeah.
Now, in the beginning of the film, the whole martial arts thing, they set it up from the first 5 minutes about the glow.
Yes.
So you have to achieve the glow. And there's a lot of time spent in the film discussing the glow and what the glow is and how you achieve the glow and how it's a good thing for the good person but a bad thing for a bad person. The glow. I watched this multiple times as a child, roughly the same age, I'm guessing, as you guys. I do not remember anything about the glow.
No fucking way. Steve,
all I knew was
it is like the premier thing that I remember, other than Vanity.
I remember the whole thing with him glowing at the end. I just don't remember any discussion about it. I remember
the whole song. I remember the whole, you got the glow to grow. You know that, all.
Yeah.
And I never really paid attention to the lyrics. So for me, it was just at the end they start glowing, and I was like, I'm cool with that.
Even in the opening song, they talk about glow.
Right, and what I'm saying is I don't remember. I didn't pay attention to any of that.
Wow.
None of it, but it didn't. I was totally willing to accept the idea that these guys were so good that they started glowing at the end.
You know what's interesting too? The TV spot shows shows Bruce Leroy glowing in it too. So it's even in the TV spot they show him glowing.
Which they should.
And it actually says, it's like in theaters now. Get the glow.
Yeah, it was for me. It was just okay. There's a lot of shit going on. Where's the big fight at the end? And then they glow. So yeah.
See, that was the tie-in to El DeBarge's hair.
Oh, is that what it was? So glow. And you know what? And when they get to that fight scene, even rewatching the film, I will say this. I'm not ashamed to admit it, but I got goosebumps. I like the fight scene at the end of the film a lot.
That's the only fight scene that's good in the film.
Yeah.
No, I think the movie theater fight scene's cool too, but on a different level. Again, just all these this menagerie of people attacking the Shogun on the stage. I enjoy that too.
Yeah, that was cool. But in terms of technicality, the last one was the only one that was worth it.
I like the scene where he's smashing that guy's face, and the tranny is like, "Not the face, not the face." And he just looks at her and goes, "Yeah," and then he smashes his face into the theater floor one more time.
Her only film, by the way. I looked it up.
Why is
really?
it that the 80s? Why is it that women in the 80s also made themselves look like trannies? Like, if you wanted to be a tough woman, you had to paint arrows and daggers and shit on your face.
Oh, they had the thing with the eyes where they paint the eyeshadow all the way up to the head, and that whole kind of Debbie Harry thing going on. Yeah,
I think it was kind of I think it was kind of like an 80s punk, kind of like a mixture of 80s retro, not retro at the time, retro now,
David Bowie thing or something. I don't know.
It was like punk mixture thing, like this Devo type thing going.
It was like punk meets David Bowie meets Valley Girl meets Jersey Girl, and then Jersey Girl stayed, and everything else kind of changed.
Yeah, because that was, the evil women always intrigued me too. Like every gang in the 80s movies had to have one or two evil women involved.
Oh yeah. Shogun's girls, yeah.
I mean, even in Breakin', I know the evil Breakin' group had to have the women in it that were I know you talked about it. I remember hearing it on your podcast.
Yeah. Well, that was the big thing, was bringing a woman into the group because
yeah,
women.
and you can go even further. Here's another tie-in to a previous podcast. The Break-In with Lucinda Dickey, who was in Ninja 3, The Domination.
Oh, yeah.
Had that awful makeup, too. And when she was possessed, she had that awful...
Yeah, just powder white, just hair teased out to Mars. It's just crazy. My favorite scene in that movie, when she's pouring wine down her chest. I was telling Scott that when we reviewed Breakin'. And Scott's just kind of like, I don't know what you're talking about, Joey.
Yeah, and they've always got
Chris knows what I'm talking about. What? Can I finish a sentence?
I'm trying to finish one 3 times.
You're trying to interfere. You're trying to step in.
I'm trying to finish the...
You're just looking for a millisecond pause. That's all.
Millisecond?
You got tons of time now. Go.
No, now it's not worth it.
It's not worth it?
No,
okay.
I'm good.
Sorry. So
now,
back
the
to
scene
Ninja...
playing right now. he's wearing the yellow jumpsuit,
Sure.
and I thought it was funny because Holly
Well,
turned
that's
to me
a
and said,
Bruce Lee reference.
Yes, right. So that I'll just stop now.
Why?
Why?
That's what I was getting at. That was what I was talking about.
That it was a Bruce Lee reference?
Do you know
Yeah,
the movie?
well, right. Well, that's the end of what I was going to say. So just, never mind. Keep going.
Well, it's like you can equate it like even Kill Bill. She had that yellow jumpsuit.
That was what I was going to say. Yeah.
Don't take it personal, Scott. Come on.
I'm not taking it personal. I'm saying, go ahead.
Sounds like you are.
That means you're listening.
Yeah, I'm
Going.
letting you talk.
Keep going.
We're just having a normal conversation here. You're mentioning
No.
things and we're jumping in. What's the matter?
Nothing's wrong. Keep going. Holy shit.
See?
I wish the salami nunchucks from that Bruce Lee movie made a showing in this one. You ever notice that? What was that, Game of Death? When he wore that jumpsuit?
It was Game of Death. Yes, it was.
Yeah.
And he fought Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in that scene.
Yes, that's a fantastic. That's one of my favorite fight scenes of all time. Is the Kareem fight.
Oh, yeah. I remember when they attempted to make Game of Death 2 and used a completely different actor, that they cut in scenes of Bruce Lee, not even from Game of Death, just like from other films to try and make it like he was in that movie. And of course...
Really?
Yeah. Like if in the opening scene of Game of Death 2, he's sitting down having tea and he's talking with somebody and they pan to the guy he's talking with and they pan back to him and it's Bruce Lee. But it's obviously footage from something else, like another movie. And then they cut back to that guy and they cut back to the footage of Bruce Lee. And then the movie starts and then it's a completely different actor throughout the rest of the movie. And it's so apparent. And of course, the guy that plays him, his name is like, I think his name was Bruce Lee, but they spelled it like L-I-I or L-I or something like that.
Yeah, they had like 10 different actors that were Bruce Lee, variations on the name Lee.
Right.
Like L-I, L-E,
L-E-I.
L-E-I, you know, like, yeah.
They did that a lot to try and, continue his legacy as long as they could.
This was to get back to the Last
Please
Dragon. These movies just reminded me, like the 80s, how I guess action movies, they were always around, in some form or another. But this is when karate action movies were like, that was like exotic and the coolest thing ever. I mean, you remember like even I'm trying to remember like the crappy 80s like They Call Me Bruce. You remember that movie?
Oh yeah. And
like
they
stuff
still
like that.
call me
like,
Bruce.
I mean, they tried anything you can. You got to put some karate in there, and forget it. It's this will make us an extra couple million at the box office.
It's why Chuck Norris was so popular, because Bruce Lee ended up passing away. He ended up dying, and Chuck Norris was pretty much the only other person that was even near Bruce Lee as far as the martial arts scene at that time.
Yeah.
Even though he got his ass kicked by Bruce Lee at every competition they were at together. But that's why Chuck Norris ended up becoming so famous, because Bruce Lee was not around to make movies anymore. So they latched on to Chuck Norris and they put him in everything action-wise.
That's why he killed him.
Thank God for Menachem Golan. Menachem Golan. Getting Canon Films and The Missing in Action and Invasion USA and
Delta Force.
Yeah.
My all-time favorite, The Octagon. That's my favorite Chuck Norris movie.
Oh man, Blast
of all time.
Now, Scott, real quick, you have to give me a movie challenge this episode.
I do. I'm challenging you this episode.
I challenge you.
Yes. Yes, I do. Yeah, it's one of the bounce off what Chris said. Is like the thing is like obviously there's always been martial arts films, but the mid '80s was really this resurgence of the public popularity of it, because you also saw Jackie Chan coming to America making films, and like you said, between samurai and kung fu and karate, all these films just started pouring out, especially with the with your video market too becoming vast. So you really did see a huge resurgence of the martial arts film, but in the same way that, in the same level of low quality that you've always seen throughout the previous decades.
And the Ninja, remember that show, The Ninja? With
No. I don't
yeah,
Lee
know
Van
that.
Cleef?
Lee Van Cleef, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
It was,
yeah, now I do. That was a shitty show. You know what? I'm sorry. What? Did I
How
interrupt
dare
you?
you?
I'm trying to think of the name. It's not the Ninja. It's Ninja
The
something.
Master. The Master.
The Master.
The
Ninja.
Master.
Master
And that
Ninja.
had Michael Dudikoff in it.
No.
That was before he
No,
branched
Timothy Van
off and
Patten.
Oh no, Timothy Van Patten.
Timothy
You-
Van
Was that-
Patten.
that wasn't
Yeah.
Michael Dudikoff?
No, Chris is right.
Okay,
My
I'm
mistake.
sorry. I thought it was Dudikoff. Anyway, but you're right. And I didn't remember it, but now I do. My father made us rent every single one of those to watch it. Every single one. I've seen every episode of that show.
I watched it religiously. I used to go to Krauser's and buy Ninja magazine. And buy Ninja magazine because I wanted to, and I would fantasize about buying the Chinese stars in the back of the magazine.
You know
and
what?
Being a ninja and those spikes that you put on your hands, that you can climb trees.
Oh,
I just
yeah.
imagine this like fat white kid trying to climb a tree or a telephone pole in Bloomfield, New Jersey. Nightmare.
If you're if you're a Mystery Science Theater fan, they actually did an episode with Master Ninja. They had 2 episodes put together as a movie, and they did a riff on those. That's a great episode.
And the
Oh,
bad
man.
guy was Sho Kosugi. Was chasing them.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
man, Sho Kosugi. I
Was
remember watching
Ninja.
everything he ever did. I remember when Pray for Death came out, and you couldn't see it in the theater. It wasn't in there long enough. And then when it was out on VHS, everyone that didn't go see it in the theater rented that like fucking crazy. And you were on a wait list, which seemed like it was forever to see that film. Forever.
Yep. It was one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
But like
You know-
Ninja 2, Ninja 3, The Domination, Sho Kosugi, he was the go-to ninja.
always.
You had to afford him though. You can't
All through the 80s, he was the go-to guy.
Yep. His son is now a movie star too.
But not here.
No, not here.
No, not here. Yeah, I did. I looked him up, because when you do research for, like, say, The Last Dragon and everything, and it just, like, when we were doing Breakin' and all that, Lucinda Dickey, and then you go to Ninja 3 to Domination, you just end up on this loop where you're just looking up things. It's like, oh shit, Sho Kosugi, I remember him. I used to watch his stuff all the time. Then you look at all the stuff that he used to do, and it's like, oh my god, and then your Revenge of the Ninja, and then they had that guy with the white ninja, and it's like, you never really saw white ninjas. But in that
Wasn't
film,
that the guy, Franco Nero?
was Franco
wasn't that-
Nero in that?
Wasn't he was in one of the ninja movies. He was like the white ninja, or maybe he was the ninja with the silver mask or something.
Really, I'm checking that while we talk because
Yeah, I'm gonna do the same thing.
No.
maybe you're right. I don't know. I don't remember him in any of the ninja films.
I
But again-
could be wrong, but I thought it was him.
Sho Kosugi's still alive, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Well, Franco Nero only did like 500 movies, so it
Franco
should be-
Nero was in Enter the Ninja.
That's it. Yeah.
Okay.
Enter the Ninja. And yeah, there's a dude on the cover. He does not wearing a mask, but he's in all in white. I'm assuming that's Franco Nero.
Yeah.
Menem Golan, director. Jesus, he directed?
Dude, he did everything. That guy
Oh,
was
yeah.
that guy was like a renaissance man of shit movies.
Oh, yeah.
The slap to the face to Cyndi Lauper is on the screen now. Just thought I mentioned that.
Oh, you know who else was in Last Dragon? And I totally forgot. 80s favorite, Ernie Reyes Jr.
Oh, yeah. That was his first film, wasn't it?
It had to have been. I mean, he looks like he's 3.
I think that was
Oh,
his first film.
The smart aleck Asian kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Who ended up doing stunt work in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles film. He was, I think, Leonardo. I forget who he was. But then branched out and kind of became not a movie star, but he became kind of famous. But
I think he's a choreographer kind of now, like fight
yeah,
choreographer.
that's where his bread and butter is. He does all.
He was
that
in The
stuff.
Rundown with The Rock and Christopher Walken.
Yeah, he was kicking what's his face's ass.
Yes.
Yeah,
I like
hanging
The Rundown.
hanging from trees. No, that was good.
It was fun.
But Ernie
Anything
Reyes
with Christopher
Jr.
Walken.
He was.
What was that?
I have a theory. My Christopher Walken theory is every movie he's ever been in is that much better by the sheer fact that he's in it.
Oh yeah.
I mean, no matter how terrible the movie is, at least it's got Christopher Walken in it.
Well,
Yeah,
and
And
The
if it
Rundown-
has Christopher Walken in a helicopter, it cannot be considered a bad movie. It has to be considered
That's right.
decent.
Take Joe Dirt for instance. Infinitely better film because of Christopher Walken.
I think you found a flaw to that theory with Joe Dirt. Thank you very much.
You're talking to my boy. You're talking to him all wrong.
The Rundown, especially because the writer director went through the trouble just to specifically make him say Oompa Loompas. I mean, the whole film is worth it just to watch Christopher Walken say Oompa Loompas to a bunch of like diamond mine workers. Fucking great.
Oompa Loompas. All right.
And then, and Ernie Reyes was also in the 80s, or maybe it had to have been late 80s, television show with Buck Rogers, Sidekicks.
Oh God! Sidekicks.
Oh wow, jeez, I forgot about that show.
That was that was another Chuck Norris film, wasn't it?
No,
it was a TV show.
it was a show with Gil Gerard. Well, it probably was a movie also. I think it
Chuck
was
Norris do a
Sidekicks.
film called Sidekicks?
Yes, he did, but it was with another kid, I think.
Otherwise, just Sidekick. Was it? Or
No, it's Sidekicks. Oh, that
yeah, but
kid.
he's-
God, that kid committed suicide. Jonathan Brandis.
Oh. I saw Sequest. I kind of understand.
Oh, ow.
No, I'm sorry.
Wow.
I apologize.
Ow.
No, we don't apologize on this show.
Too
Wait a-
soon.
Too
Too
soon.
soon? Yeah, he only died 11 years ago.
I feel bad. That was a pretty horrible.
Suicide
It was
by
not.
hanging. Ouch.
Yeah.
Not good. Jesus Christ, would have been our age. He's born in 76.
Jonathan Brandis.
Jesus
And that
Christ.
talking dolphin. That fucking talking dolphin. That's what he wrote. That was his last words.
That fucking talking dolphin. That's right.
But then
he was in
Roy Scheider was in it, so you have to give it some props.
He was in Ladybugs. Jesus Christ.
Yep. Who was
Now-
the girl in Ladybugs?
Oh,
I know we're way off topic now. The hot girl that you like.
That never happened.
that never happened. What's her name? Vanessa
There was-
Shaw?
I thought she was famous. I guess not.
Yeah, no, it's Vanessa Shaw.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah, she's the redhead. She was also in the shitty film Hocus Pocus.
This
Yeah,
shitty.
She kind of looks like a porn star. What's her face? Can't remember her name right now, but she looks like a porn star. Anyway,
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Scott's in deep thought.
Well, first of all, they're in Vanity's apartment now, and again, just like the first painting on the wall, it's just like 80s advertising, Art Deco, insane.
Yeah.
For as much money as she has, she just leaves her purse at the door. She just drops it on the floor at the door when she comes in. Like she doesn't have I don't know. I don't buy that.
She
you
doesn't
also
care
notice,
about
though, too-
material things.
The thing about this movie is okay, we're talking supposed to be semi-gritty, Harlem in the 80s. There's, evil kind of corporate underhanded gangster types. It's a very clean movie.
Well, it's
Oh, yeah.
you're touching on something I was going to mention. It's a very good point. It's really this is a kid's film. This was made for kids.
Yeah,
And
it
so
had to.
Yeah, so it's like a Sesame Street version of The Ghetto, where his his family, his struggling family, they own their own pizza shop. I don't want to see the scene where like Shogun goes in and says, "Hey, how come you ain't got no pictures of ninjas on your wall?"
Just direct the old Feetza to Daddy Green.
Green's Pizza.
I wanted to go to Daddy Green Pizza.
Watch it, son.
Now, in my head, in my head, again, I hadn't seen this in decades. In my head, the father who owns the pizza shop
was John Amos.
Yes.
Yes.
It's
Me
not.
too.
No.
I was going to say that. I was going to say that, Scott. I was going to say the same thing.
Exactly.
In my head, that's who it was.
Yeah, and then I watched the movie like, that's not him.
Give me some more calzone, Florida.
Is that bad? I mean, is that bad? Where like when we think of '80s black father, that's like our white brains just immediately go, "Oh, John Amos."
Are you saying they all look the same?
I'm saying it's weird that as white children, and then we grow up and we're thinking back, and well, obviously it was James Amos.
But see, I have a different John Amos thing because I remember early. Watching, Good Times, of course, like said,
right.
like James,
James!
Watching that. But then I also remember him in Beastmaster, which he was badass in Beastmaster.
Yeah. Which we reviewed not that long ago.
Yes. I tried to make a lot of comments, but that fucking live stream thing.
No. We might move to Ustream or...
What?
Oh, no.
I think he was going to ask if they remade Last Dragon today, because they had this Sesame Street 80s feel to it, what direction would they go in today if they remade this movie?
It'd be like G.I. Joe action. You know what I mean? Like, did you see... I mean, I know, I'm sorry to have to say that I did see G.I. Joe. The new one.
I saw the first one. I didn't see the second one.
Yeah, you're not missing anything. But you know how the action's all there, but it's not real? You know what I'm talking about? Like,
yeah.
Like watching the cartoon when you see the parachutes out after every plane that gets shot down. It's the same thing. It's sanitized action. They would go that route, I think. I think. Either that or it'd be the comedy Starsky and Hutch remake kind of vibe to it.
Shit.
And the wheels come off.
There you go.
So soon? Now, you were in the middle of a point. You were asking, I believe what you were asking is The Last Dragon, when it was made in the 80s, it had this Sesame Street, even their costumes felt like that. If it was remade today...
Well, what I was saying was it's obviously such a kid's film. If they remade it today, can you see this as a real film?
I think you can, only because films, even for kids, not that they're getting more violent, but they're getting more adult-oriented too. Like, take the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles film. A lot of kids went to go see that. It's PG-13, but they made it in such a way that adults, theoretically, are supposed to be enjoying it as well. Right. I think for this, they would go the same way. I don't think they would go as... What
I'm saying is, what about doing it as a straight martial arts film now, or a straight action film now, and not gearing it towards kids as well?
It would probably have Ben Stiller in it.
Oh,
Ben Stiller and Owen Wilson as the Shogun of Harlem.
Oh God!
All right, Will Ferrell. I'll do Will Ferrell.
Will Ferrell is Eddie Arcadian.
No, as the Shogun. You know what?
That
it's
works.
Weird.
You know what? That works equally as good.
I got a better Robert Downey Jr. as a black man playing the Shogun of Harlem.
I don't step out of character until. What did he say? I don't step out of character until the end credit.
The DVD
audio
commentary.
That's right. Hey everybody, shut up! I'm on TV.
This. I don't know. I don't know if it can be done. I don't know if it could be done again.
Well, I think it could be done. I don't think it'll be done right. I just don't think they would ever do it.
It obviously wouldn't be this. There's no way. This is like lightning in a bottle. This is the 80s, like just killed and stuffed. And this is a taxidermist 80s movie. You're never going to equate the exact same. You're never going to have a fight sequence with a white Mr. T at the end.
The only thing that's missing from this movie, if to be perfect, if it was, I mean, it's 80s youth. If this was pure 80s, you would have awful, menacing synthesizer music and cocaine, like a Brian De Palma movie.
But it's a weird, it's a whole different, because again we love this film still as adults,
Yeah.
because as kids we the glow and the action scenes, we were sucked in by that. As adults, there's just a campiness to the film that is eternal, and it's like the Shogun now, he's having this weird fight club, and he's got on those shoulder pads.
Yeah, I love
It's
those
just
pads.
fucking, again, Mary Van Peebles was involved somewhere. It's just ridiculous. And then all his gang is all wearing camouflage.
Yeah.
I love the suitcase of money too. It's like, keep your money. It's like, Shogun, we're fighting in a fucking basement. Come on, take the money.
We're starving following your ass.
I honestly think this movie too had a lot to say for like the harmony between the races too. There was a lot of racial. No, there was a lot of ethnic representation in this movie.
Right, and all the white people were bad.
Well,
Yeah.
When are we not?
No, because the ditzy video star turned out to be okay at the end. She was just
She was just stupid,
getting by on her tits.
Getting by on my tits.
I'll grant you, there's a more positive white presence in this film than there was in Action Jackson, but not much.
People under the stairs hate Whitey.
Wow.
But now it's funny because think about it. Here, you know what? I'm going to say this. I think
Uh-oh.
that
I need
the
to hit the
reason
dump button.
why Tyler Perry is so successful now is because of Berry Gordy's The Last Dragon. I'm going to say it because think about it. It's a primarily ethnic cast, primarily black, in positive roles, which is Tyler Perry's thing, right? Having all the roles. But this is we've actually gone more racist now than ever before. Because Berry Gordy's Last Dragon, everything was kind of harmonious, especially at the end.
Except for the evil white guy.
But they don't exist. White people don't exist in Tyler Perry movies, except for the turtle in the last one. The guy from Entourage is in it, I guess.
All right. Now, in order to agree with your theory there, I would have to have actually seen a Tyler Perry film.
Come on, you've never watched a Tyler Perry movie?
I'm still not
I'm going
convinced they
to
exist.
I'm going to go with Scott and
as far
say
as I
that.
know, yeah, I'm sorry, Joey.
No, it's fine. I was going to let you finish. But I'm going to agree with Scott. I don't believe they exist either because I've never actually seen one myself.
As far as I know,
Wow.
they just make the trailers.
You guys are racist. You're a bunch of racists.
If you listen to our Stranger Show, you know that wasn't true. Anyway, if you haven't gathered, Livestream crashed my computer yet again. Good old Livestream, always crashing my computer. And it seems on a regular basis as well. Anyway, I want to thank Scott. I want to thank Chris Wollner. I want to thank everyone involved in this episode. They did a great job. Unfortunately, Livestream cut us short. But, we were probably going to go long anyway. We did about an hour and a half. That's pretty good. Pretty good for free. Anyway, thank you for joining us for our milestone episode of 150th episode of Moviesucktastic. To just get this show ended, you can go to our website at Moviesucktastic.com. You can download all our shows there. You can watch the show live there. You can listen to the show there if you wanted. You can go to iTunes and you can download our shows there as well. Please leave us a review while you're there. We always appreciate that. You can go to our Tumblr page at moviesucktastic.tumblr.com. You want to leave us voicemail? 908-514-4470. You want to get in touch with us by email? You can do that too. The address is themovieguys@moviesucktastic.com. Also, download the app, the Android app for your phone, for your tablet, whatever you're using Android-wise. It is totally free. You can listen to the show live. Not live, I'm sorry. You can stream the show. You can download the show. You can go to the website, get the merch. Everything that you can do Moviesucktastic-wise, you can do through the app. I highly recommend it, and it's free. So, and my parting words of wisdom in honor of Scott, fuck live stream. All right, everybody. We'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.